gorgeous people, how are you all doing today? I really hope you are well. I'm not. Oh, I think I've got some kind of lurgy. Do you remember in the last video when I was like, yay, good news? I just started to feel a little bit off that morning. And here we are a couple of days later and I feel utterly lousy. It's just a cold. It's just a cold. You know, everyone will say it's just a cold. But we all know how thoroughly lousy one can feel with a cold. So let's never dismiss anyone when they say they're feeling lousy because of a cold. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to do slightly less cooking today than I planned. I'm going to make myself some really good hearty soup for now, and then I think I'm going to flop on the sofa. I think my body is telling me to stop for a minute. Anyway, so on with the shopping. The last time I did a shopping video, I was mentioning how obviously my shopping has had to change because of not having a garden this year, and that continues. And I think I said at the time it would make sense that the cheapest stuff available is that which is in season. So eating with the seasons ought to be the most frugal way to eat, and that's holding true for the most part. But also my shopping has changed a bit, and even in terms of sort of menu planning, I have a rough idea, or at least I have a good idea in my head when I go to the shops of what I'm planning to cook that week. But what I've found in the last few weeks or so, the last 4 or 5 weeks or so, I'm being a bit more flexible in order to make the most of any offers that might be on. Now, an offer is only good if it's something you're going to use, if it's something you would normally use. So for instance, if there's an offer on radishes, I ain't buying radishes because they're on offer, because I hate the blighters. Same with corn on the cob. I know, weird, each to our own. But yeah, so I've noticed that, so I shop mostly at Lidl, and there's usually, I'm trying to picture it on the end, as you go into the grocery section, it's the end of the aisles, that's like aisle either side, and it goes across the end. I think it's that sort of 5 or 6 things each week are on offer. So I always look there first, and excuse me, I might have to have quite a few sips today. And there might be a week when none of the offers are anything that appeal to me, and then sometimes they really do. So it's helping to keep my shopping amount, it's helping to keep it really quite low still, even though obviously I am buying more vegetables now. So let's get on with today's shopping. Gordon Bennett, it's heavy. Oh, it's really heavy. There's a treat in the bottom, that's why. So I knew I wouldn't need masses today, so there's an item in here, an expensive item, which I've included into this week's shop, even though I've still got some in the cupboard, but it's getting really low. We'll come to that in a second, but let's start. Let me just find my receipt with the veggies not on offer. Beautiful Savoy cabbage, 75p. That, a quarter of a Savoy cabbage with whatever else I'm having, that's 4 suppers. Just love the colour. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Quite a lot of what I eat tends to be quite orange and red because I like squash and all that sort of thing. So I always have to kind of think, don't forget green stuff. And I think I was saying the other day about not having any Cavallo Nero, which is one of my absolute go-to favourite brassicas for the winter. So I'm going to have a look around here to see if anyone sells it. But yeah, that will do 4 suppers, and then a nice big head of broccoli. That was 99p. Again, that will do 4 or 3 suppers. So that's my kind of, in terms of my evening meals, that's kind of my green for the week. Yeah, I can't wait to get into that Savoy cabbage. So lovely, isn't it? A bit of fruit. I don't always buy fruit. I've been buying, I think I am buying a bit more fruit than I ever used to. I think it's just because I'm in that mindset now of, I buy everything that I eat these days. So hey, why not? So I've gone for British galas. They were £1.59. Now, interestingly, I noticed, so they're kind of, you know, normal sort of full size, £1.59. I noticed while I was in there, they had class 2. So this is class 1. It's kind of a grading system for our veggies. And once upon a time, I mean, I remember as a kid going to the greengrocers and you'd have 3 boxes for the same veg. Class 1, class 2, class 3. We bought a lot of class 3, the lower grade. Then supermarkets, they started turning their nose up at class 2 and class 3. They wouldn't buy it. Lots of waste. Nowadays, brilliantly with like all the wonky veg box schemes, and actually supermarkets doing their own wonky veg boxes as well, we are starting to see more of the class 2 and occasionally class 3 fruits and veggies appearing on our shelves, so we don't have to waste it. And what I noticed in Lidl, coming back to the gala apples, they had a bag of 6 class 2 galas and they were £1.19, so that's 40p cheaper for 6. I didn't go for them though, however, because they were tiny. I mean, really small. So in terms of pound for pound, I don't think it was cheaper. In fact, they might have been more expensive pound for pound. But I was thinking, actually, you know, if you've got kids, then that smaller apple, perfect for a smaller mouth and a smaller hand. So yeah, that's well worth looking out for in your branch. I don't know if all branches are doing it, but I was delighted to see that today. First of my offer purchases, celery, 49p instead of, I think it's usually 79p. Unfortunately, they've gone back to plastic packaging. Grr, do you remember for a time I was getting it with a paper band? What a shame. Now, 49p, that's a bargain. That's a real bargain. And actually I was on my way home and then I thought, I can't be bothered to go back. I'm not going back. But what I thought I could do later in the week when I feel a little bit more, I just realised I'm kind of sweating and I've definitely got a bug of some sort. But let's say later in the week, if I'm feeling up to it, I could pop down there and get another one purely for chopping up and putting in the freezer. If they've got masses of stock, I might even get 2. I would only get 2 if there's masses and masses of stock, because I don't want to take another one and deny that to someone else. So we'll see. Also, this is a new departure at my branch of Lidl. Loose carrots. So these two, they work out, it's the same price per kilo as bagged carrots. So they're 69p per kilo. These two worked out at 37p. I only need the 2. They're massive. That one's going in a casserole stew. That one's going in a casserole stew. I'll talk about what I'm going to eat in a second. So yeah, I'm really pleased to see that they have them loose. However, and I learned this 3 weeks ago, was the first time I'd seen them in there loose. I thought that's fantastic, and I think I bought about 6, a similar size. And of course I didn't use them all that first day, I didn't use them straight away, and by the 3rd day they were all going off. So I would say if you're buying them loose, get them used up within a couple of days, or you know, buy a smaller amount, get them cooked up in a couple of days. So these will get cooked up and go into meals that I'm going to have every evening, and then there'll be some for the freezer. you know, for my ready meals from the freezer for either busy times or times like now when I feel I can't go on. Yeah, get them used up. And if you really can't be bothered cooking, like if you've bought them and then you suddenly, I mean, look, it's the season, isn't it? It's the season now when we're starting to get colds. I often find that I get a cold in March, April, and around about sort of end of September, October, as we change the season. So I had one beginning of April this year, and now I've got my winter one. So yeah, if you find that suddenly you think, I can't be bothered to cook, I'm dead on my feet, I feel absolutely rubbish, just get them chopped up and sling them in the freezer, because at least then you can use them another day. I don't like my veg out of the freezer for eating whole like that, but in a soup, because they just go mushy, don't they? But in a soup, great. I've actually got some carrots in the freezer, just thinking about it now. I've got plenty of carrots in the freezer. I hadn't planned for this. And I'm not going to be using all of that celery, so what better than to make carrot and celery soup with, I've not got many left. I've got some red lentils up there. I've got enough red lentils to make soup. Right, let's carry on with the shopping. Oh, this was also on offer. This was a great deal. A bag of sweet potatoes. What? Sorry, have I got it up? How much is in that? It's a kilo. A kilo of sweet potatoes for 89 pence. I mean, pretty much everywhere, a kilo of sweet potatoes is about £1.50, £1.60. So that is a fantastic purchase. And now I'm thinking I should have got a second one of these too. I'll see how I feel. I think it would be well worth popping back and getting another bag, because again, these can be just chunked up, slung in the freezer, and they're a great base for soup in the winter, aren't they? Because it gives it a bit of thickness and it's so yummy. And in terms of, I'm not sure, like in terms of glycemic index, carbs, all of that sort of thing, I think they're kind of kinder to us than white potatoes. So yeah, I think 89p, I can't get over that. 89p for a kilo of sweet spuds. Fantastic. Fantastic. So I did have a sweet potato on my shopping list. I had one. I put down the shopping list. Sweet potato, because I normally buy them loose and buy one. I saw those and I thought, yeah, I'm going to have them. So my expensive items. So that's kind of it. That's pretty much it. That's all I needed. So I've put in, that's my expensive item. At Lidl it's £2.99. At most other places it's more like £3.49, £3.50. So, and I don't always get to Lidl. Sometimes I just can't face the walk there. But I knew I was going to have a slightly lower cost shopping trip today. Okay, think ahead. Sling the Marmite in this week. And then finally, Esther, a treat. A really, 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 really naughty treat. And I don't fancy it today, but I can have it in a few days' time, maybe next weekend, for £3.45. It's the cheapest one. A bottle of wine. A dry and citrusy drop of white Condé Noble or Noble, I don't know. But I mean, £3.45, it might be like vinegar. So I can enjoy a couple of glasses of this as a kind of, just like a little mini celebration over the flat business. Like I said the other day, I don't want to get carried away because, God knows, touching wood, anything can happen. But yeah, a couple of glasses of wine to say cheers, and then I'll have a bit left over. So a risotto. So talking of risotto and what I'm cooking, I've got something else here as well. I've got frozen peas in the oven, in the freezer. I also have in the freezer, I've still got some broad beans. So I will have a broad bean and pea risotto, and I'll put tons of peas and broad beans in. In fact, I might put more veggie in than rice, really wump up the green vitamins. So that would be handy. I have a little drop of wine, because mostly when I make risotto it's made without wine. So that would be a nice change, a nice treat. Have I got any butter at the moment? I don't think I've got any butter. I'll do it with oil. That's fine. So a really green beanie pea risotto. I'll make 4 portions. So I can either have a portion that day, a portion the next day. I generally have it as an evening meal. Could have it for lunch. That's good. So otherwise I'm going to make 2 big pots of fasolada. That's my Greek beans. You can see I'm ready to do some cooking. I've only got dried fasolada gigantes beans. Oh, but the other thing to just mention as well is, obviously with a move now more impending, I've got quite a lot of beans in the freezer still, so I'm just going to use them up now, start using them all up. So a couple of big pots of fasolada. I'll make enough for 8 to 10 portions. Fantastic. I'll make a big pot, might make 2 big pots of curry. So sweet potato for the curry, chickpeas, beans, sweet potato, chickpeas, beans, and then, so I'll make my curry, and then I'll just steam some broccoli separately, and then just have the steamed broccoli on top. Likewise with the fasolada, I'll steam some of my savoy or the broccoli, just have it alongside. Delicious. But I've also got a big bowl of tomatoes. I think that's a money maker. I don't know what the plum is, and there are a few little cherries too. So this is my neighbour downstairs, Pauline. She's been looking after her brother's garden while he's on holiday, and suddenly all the tomatoes were coming at once. So she did a massive pick, and she took a load of them into her ex-workplace. She's taken early retirement, so she took a load into her old work colleagues, and then said, would I like some? And I said, yes, please. So lovely fresh tomatoes. Now, I'm not in salad mode anymore. And so I thought with these, because different varieties as well, I'm going to make, I was going to say syrup, I think I do need that lie down, don't I? What's it called? Sauce. Make a really thick sauce. Probably chuck a load of beans in as well, get some protein. But probably just have it with the Savoy cabbage. Just steam the cabbage, a mountain of steamed Savoy, absolutely covered in a thick tomatoey beanie sauce. Salivating at the thought. Savoy cabbage and tomatoes are such a beautiful combination. So that's another possibility. In stock, I have. What have I got inside? I've got a couple more tins of chickpeas in the cupboard. So, like I said, for the curry, what have you. In the freezer, I'm down to pretty much beans. I've got 1 final portion of my own tomatoes in there. I don't know why I'm saving them. I've been saving them. But yeah, I've got quite a lot of beans in terms of coco de pampol, coco sophie, but no gigantes left at all. None of the others, like the oversized runner beans, which I use sort of like kidney beans, they're all gone. The freezer's getting really empty. And actually, it's not economical to run a freezer half empty. So, and also in the top deck, there's about 6 portions of carrots that I've frozen, where I've got to the end of the week, not used all my carrots. Quick, chop them, freeze them, haven't used up. So there's plenty in there for making soups and stuff like that. And one of the reasons I sort of just do a massive, I'm hoping to make 8, 16, 20, maybe 24 meals. one of the things is to fill the freezer up again so that the freezer runs more economically. And of course, then I've got all those meals as ready meals, dead handy, for when I'm feeling a little bit rubbish. Oh yeah, so the total, it came to £11.52. Not bad at all. I'm happy with that. Considering that there's £3 for the Marmite and £3.45 for the wine, £6.45. So I've spent £5.10. Take the wine and the Marmite out, £5.10 on veggies. That bargain of the year. Yeah, that'll keep me going. Sorry, I was saying about in store, and I suddenly remembered the receipt. I'm not really with it today. I've got long grain brown rice. I've got risotto rice. I don't want to go out again today. Long grain brown rice, risotto rice. I've got some pearl barley. I've got some chickpeas in the cupboard, and I've got some black beans in the cupboard too. Plenty of beans in the freezer. More carrots in the freezer. Enough celery to do everything I want to in terms of my stews, but also to add it to some of the freezer carrots to make carrot and celery soup with the red lentils. I'm just going to check my cupboard. I think I've got another bag of red lentils in there. I wouldn't normally let a jar get so low and not have a replacement ready. So yeah, of course, you know, all the usual herbs and spices that are part of everybody's pantry anyway. So we can, you know, play with flavours all week too. Yeah, this is not a house where I eat boiled vegetables each day. Nuh-uh. Let's respect our veggies and give them some chutzpah. So that's it. Yeah, that's a real quickie today. I think, yeah, I'm done in. I am really, really done in. So hopefully I'll see you again within, you know, in 3 days. I've been putting videos out every 3 days recently. So hopefully I'll see you again in 3 days. If you don't see me, I'm probably under a duvet. I'm sure I'll be fine. But I might just feel like, yeah, hiding for a couple of days. We'll see. Otherwise, yeah, there's plenty to be getting on with, and I'll catch you up when I see you next. So until then, happy cooking, happy experimenting with new recipes, happy finding those bargains and changing your mind about what you're going to cook for the week because it's too good of a bargain. And hopefully, like I said, I'll feel a bit brighter in 3 or 4 days, and I'll pop back and get a load more celery and sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes, 89p a kilo. Can't get over it. Anyway, all right, lovelies, I'm really waffling now. It's time to say cheerio, everybody. Look after yourselves.